when we talk about your definition, I want us to think about it this way. Write this down so you never forget. I'm giving you 4 things, and there'll be an exam at the end of this session. So I need you to remember those 4 things, okay? So number 1, the first thing we're going to write down is what will help us to define wealth, especially around the financial discussion. So it is the ability to live the lifestyle that you want without having to work. Wow, okay, that's a loaded statement. So bear with me as I break it down. So first of all, you have to describe what you want. Why is this important, ladies and gentlemen? And we talked about it last year as well, because this affects your business as well. If you don't have a goal, a target that you're aiming for, we cannot plan. So at the beginning of any financial year, for yourself and for your business, and I'm separating the two of you, your business and yourself, you're not the same entity. You both have to have financial goals. Because if you don't have a goal, then we cannot plan the investment strategy towards that goal. We can't. Just the same way within your business, and I'm going to show you this as we go towards the end of the class. It's going to be a revision of what we did last year. Just the same way within your business, if you don't have a target for your business, then we cannot plan a marketing strategy. We cannot plan a financial strategy. We cannot plan for a growth strategy because there's no outcome. There's no goal that you're aiming for. Now, I know the next question. What percentage should I pay myself? I know people like percentages. No percentages. We save and invest in line with goals. We save and invest in line with what? Our goals. We don't save and invest in line with percentages, because percentages don't tell me. Listen to me. It was our discussion about the Mercedes. You told me a Mercedes Benz. My saving and investing towards an A class is not the same as saving and investing towards an S class. If I put 10%, it doesn't teach me anything. So I save and invest towards a goal. I set a goal and I work towards it. So ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please make sure that you're writing down this. You save and invest towards a goal. So it's not percentages. You set the goal and you save towards that goal. I suggest, highly recommend, one of your savings goals should be to have about 6 months of your income in a savings account. So that should you lose income for a period of time, you have 6 months to figure out what to do. One of our traditions here in Africa is to build a house up country, correct? Yes? For who? Who is that car for? I mean, that house for? Now, many of us will say you have to have a home where you're going to be buried, where you're going to live when you retire. You are 20 years old. Are you planning to be buried right now? So you put a lot of money into that house. I didn't say don't buy that house. I'm just saying, is it necessary right now? And then you say, when I travel up country, I have a place to... You travel up country once a year. Once, and some years you don't even go. So what does that house do? It helps your relatives up country to say, look, we have a son, a daughter, living somewhere in a city. Look at it, look. Other people's opinion. Hey, that one, forgive me if I've offended. I'm just trying to challenge the way we think. Somebody thinking about wealth creation is thinking, invest more as you earn more. Multiplication and saving is what their priority is. The instinct is to increase. They're working to create what? Assets. And those assets are the ones that then will do what? Fund your lifestyle. Please remember, one of your primary assets is your business. If your business is not structured to make money for you, please, we're going to discuss that even as we go forward. Your lifestyle starts off modest and grows over time. Please note that last part of that statement, because people hear modest and that's all they hear. No, that's where it starts. Over time, you grow. And if your business and your life, your assets allow you to drive that S600, please drive the S600. We're not here to say don't. No, do it, live. You understand the value of time, and your spending is driven by personal values and choices. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever come to a Centonomy class, we never tell you don't buy this, don't do this. No. That's not our business. It is yours to choose the lifestyle that who wants you. But we do it in order. That's what we're talking about. We are at the beginning of the month. This is the month of March. For the month of March, please, and Nyambura, please check on them. Please come back to them. All these, now we are nearly 200 of us in the room. I want you to come back and check on them at the end of the month of March, because I know we'll have another webinar. And I want you to ask, did you write down every cent you spent? Just write it. Don't judge yourself. Don't try and cut. Don't try and do it. Just the way you normally live. All you're doing is writing it down. This will change your life. It changed my life. When we did this for the first time with my family, and my wife that time, because we didn't have kids, this is now over 10 years ago. For 1 month, we just wrote down our expenses. This is assignment we give in the Centonomy classes. So we wrote down we just wrote it down. Just take note. At the end of that month, oh my goodness, we found that we were spending more on takeout food than our rent. I'm telling you, we were spending more on takeout food. I didn't say food. I said takeout food. Takeout food is different from food. We were adding even more than that, than our rent. Why? Because when we go to the office, ladies and gentlemen, both of us were employed that time, we are each buying lunch at the office, okay? She was spending about 250, I'm spending about 250, that's nearly 500 shillings per day. Monday to Friday, that's how much? 2,500. 5 times 5, 2,500. Next, on Saturday, we did what? Now you go to a nice restaurant. See, on Saturday, now you say, let's go somewhere nice. Spend about 3K. On Sunday, spend another, after church with friends and relatives. You drive out of the city and you go and spend another 8,500 in a week. Times 4, 34th, I mean. And then we would look at each other at the end of the month and say, where is the money to invest? We were eating it. What's the financial benefit of living in your own home? Gladys, thank you so much. One of the main ones is you don't pay rent. So that means the amount that you usually have paid for in rent doesn't go out. So the cash doesn't come out of your pocket. Correct? Good. Those of you who are living in your own home, please shout at people in the chat box. Is it free to live in your own home? Shalini, I'm coming to your point as well. It's brilliant. Is it free to live in your own home? Can you see, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about? It is not free. Often that home is taxed. You're the one who is maintaining the place. Anything to do that house is yours. So even if you own it, money comes out of your pocket to live in that house. Are we together? Okay. I agree with you, Shalini. Shalini, I think, mentioned property appreciates in value over time. Good. So I bought this house on the right-hand side for 10 million. Okay. I bought it for 10 million. After 10 years, it is now worth 20 million, but I'm still living in it. How do I get the money? It is worth 10 million more. It has doubled in value in the last 10 years. How do I get the 10 million if I'm living in the house? How do I get it, ladies and gentlemen? I agree with you, Shalini. It has increased in value. It is more, my net worth has increased. But how do I get the 10 million it has increased in value? How? You have a vision, the goal, remember where we started off, right? That goal, that vision or the dream, I want my child to go to the University of Cape Town. Now you make it a goal. How do you make it a goal? Write this down. A goal has what? Time and cost. When and how much? A goal has two things, time and cost. When and how much? So now because it is, I want them to go to a good university, that's the vision. Now we make it a goal. The goal is University of Cape Town. When? In the next 5 years, and it will cost me 3 million. Now you have a goal. So you're saying between now and 3 years, how do I raise my 3 million? Then you can take action. We are trying to make our business an asset. The business is not an asset if it has costs that are not related to the business growth, including your electricity, water, and all those things. I highly recommend that you build a business that pays you a salary. I'm trying to convince you, ladies and gentlemen, that profit is not your money. How do you get money out of your business? 3 ways. We talked about it last year. You have a salary. Number 2 is called a dividend. We've been talking about it here. A dividend is not profit. It is a portion of net profit at the end of the financial year. That's not normally enough to pay for your monthly costs. So aim for that salary. And the third way you make money from your business is if you sell shares to other people in it. If you're just drawing cash out of the business or taking profit, you're not in business. You can't sell that business. Therefore, it is not an asset. I'm trying to get you to understand this. A business that cannot cover its own costs is not an asset to you. You have to be in that business. So is the concept of the business paying for you beneficial in the long run? No. Why? Because you're not building in the structure so that this business is attractive enough or sustainable enough to function whether you are there or not, making it an actual asset. In that case, it is not.
Thank you very much. We have a question from Anne who is asking, how do you account for expenses like the money you send to friends, for contributions for funerals and what we call black tax? How do you account for it?
So you just simply account for it and say, friends, for this month, remember this month we are only just writing down. This month we are simply writing down. So name it what it is. I sent Gladys 10K. I sent Joseph 4,000. At the end of the month, you will put them all together. And then you'll see, what? I sent to my friends and relatives 50,000 shillings this month, and I didn't even know. Now what you'll do next month is say, my budget for supporting friends and relatives is 20,000. Okay? So when the first funeral comes, you will not put in a whole 10 because you know there'll be another funeral. When the first wedding for this month comes, you will not put in 10 because you know there'll be another wedding. When the first relative asks you, you will manage within your budget. So you budget for giving. So I didn't say you don't give. I say put a number beyond which it should be an emergency. And then you can draw from your emergency fund. Okay. Good question. For now, we are just tracking. After this, we shall decide.
We shall know what to do. Thank you, Aitaka. And then we have Graham who is asking, how do you know you've reached the profit or loss for a school business? I think that's in the example you are given for the bakery. How do you know for a school you've reached there?
No problem. How you recognize profit is if there is a greater revenue, cash coming in, than cash going out. So the only way to measure profitability of a business is to actually know how much money came in and what costs were there in the business. So if it's in a school business, I'm assuming your primary revenue source is fees, right? Like Centonomy, we are a school essentially. So fees come in, okay? Then we must manage our costs. Our costs are salaries, rent, any kind of rent you're paying, utilities, all the costs, any costs that the business has, you must know them. And it is only at the point at which revenue is more than cost that you can say you are profitable. All right. And if you don't know that, you're not in business. Let me tell you, get some education around this, ladies and gentlemen. Spend some money learning about this because you can be making money. Like, let me show you the example here real quick. And Nyambura, there are a couple of hands that are raised, so maybe we can take those people, they can ask their questions. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Where is my spreadsheet? There it is. Let me respond to you specifically on this issue of profit. Let's go back here and say I sold 80 cakes in a month. So look, if I don't understand this principle of profit, this is what happens. I sold 80 cakes, each of them was 1,000 bob. That month, revenue, cash coming in was 80,000. That sounds like I've done well. 80,000 in a month. Wow, this is a great bakery. No. Why? Because 80,000 revenue doesn't tell me this, whether this business is profitable or not. It doesn't. Why? Because there are other costs. There's direct costs or cost of the goods, 40K. And there's also my other costs for the work done, 50,000. So even if I brought in 80,000 shillings, it sounds like a lot of money. I still made a loss at the bottom there of 10,000 shillings. This is why Centonomy, we train people in the entrepreneurship class that we run, because if you don't get this concept, you can be doing this and wondering, we are making 80,000 in a month, but how come I have to withdraw 10,000 from my savings every month to put into the business? And I've been doing this for years. Why? Because it is not sustainable, because the business is not profitable. It has not achieved break even. So how do you know? You know that a business is profitable when the revenue, like in this case, let's go back to 120 cakes. It's 120,000. That's revenue. The costs in total are 110,000, 60 plus 50, 110,000. Therefore, we have made a profit of 10,000. And I have made sure I've included all the costs, including my work, my salary, as we go forward.